Okay, so, uh, everyone's talking about it, right?
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
It's everywhere you look.
And the potential is just it's mind-blowing.
Absolutely.
They're saying by 2030 it could add like what, $15.7 trillion to the global economy?
Yeah. It's a huge number.
That's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you think though, right? Like who really benefits from all of this AI wealth?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Is it just going to be, the big tech companies, the ones that are already doing well?
Right, the ones in the usual hubs.
Or is there a way, for more people to get involved, for it to be, more evenly spread out?
To really democratize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today.
Digging into that.
Yeah, deep dive into that.
Yeah.
And we're going to be focusing on EON.
Okay, yeah.
They've been around for a while,
I think it's at 26 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Long time in the innovation game.
For sure.
And they just announced this new program.
The AI for Income Academy.
Yeah, the AI for Income Academy.
Interesting name.
Right.
Catches your attention.
And they're saying it's about, making the AI economy accessible to everyone.
Leveling the playing field.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So our main source today is their press release.
Okay.
We're going to break down what they're actually proposing.
Get into the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, how are they going to make this happen? Especially, in parts of the world where it could really make a difference.
Right, where the impact could be huge.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, one of the biggest challenges in a lot of these emerging economies is youth unemployment.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's a major problem.
Massive problem.
Yeah. In Africa, Asia, Latin America.
And it's such a waste, right?
It is. So much potential just sitting there.
All this talent, but they don't have the opportunities.
Exactly.
And that's where I think what EON is doing is really interesting.
Yeah, how so?
Because they're not just talking about, teaching people AI skills.
Right. It's not just about the tech itself.
It's about using those skills to actually make money.
Yeah, the income generation part is key.
To become entrepreneurs.
Or create something.
Yeah. So it's like flipping the script,
Turning a problem into an opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of youth unemployment being a drag on the economy, they're saying, let's make it a driver of growth.
That's a powerful idea.
Right.
Right.
So let's get into the specifics of this academy.
Okay, let's do it.
What are they actually doing that's, different from what we've seen before?
Well, one of the things that jumps out is this brainy technology they talk about.
Yeah.
For selecting participants.
So it's like AI-powered selection.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Which makes you wonder, right? Like, how does that actually work?
How do you identify entrepreneurial potential using AI?
Especially, across different cultures and backgrounds.
Right. There's so much diversity to consider.
It's not just about looking at someone's resume, right?
No, it's got to be deeper than that.
They're trying to find something more fundamental.
That spark.
That drive to create something new.
The entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then on top of that, they're offering 24/7 AI mentorship.
Wow.
Which they're also calling Brainy mentors.
So you've got your Brainy technology for selection and then Brainy mentors for support.
It's very on brand for them.
Yeah, they're really leaning into that.
But I think it's an interesting concept,
It is, because mentorship is so crucial for startups.
It is.
But it's often limited,
Yeah, you only get a few hours a week or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And they're saying, no, we're going to give you access to these mentors anytime you need them.
24/7 guidance.
Day or night.
That's a game changer if it works.
Yeah. And that's the big question, right?
Yeah. How do you ensure the quality of AI-driven advice?
How do you make sure it's relevant to the specific challenges that people are facing in different markets?
Right, because one size fits all doesn't really work in this context.
No, it doesn't.
You need that local knowledge.
You need to understand the nuances of each market.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see how they pull that off.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's the EON Vibe Coder.
Okay, what's that?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Go on.
So this is a tool they've developed that lets people create apps even if they don't know how to code.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right.
Nice.
It's like AI-powered app development for regular people.
Like a drag and drop interface or something.
I'm imagining something like that, yeah.
Where you can just describe what you want the app to do.
And the AI does the heavy lifting.
Yeah, the AI translates your ideas into code.
Which is amazing because it means that anyone with a good idea can potentially create an app.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier to entry for a whole new group of entrepreneurs.
People who might have amazing insights into their local communities.
But who lack the technical skills to build an app from scratch.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
It is.
But I wonder if there are limitations to that approach.
What do you mean?
Like, can you really create any kind of app using this tool?
That's a good question.
Or is it more suited for certain types of apps?
Maybe simpler ones.
Yeah, maybe there are limits to the complexity.
It probably depends on how sophisticated the AI is, right?
Right, exactly.
And how intuitive the interface is.
Yeah.
But even if it's just for simpler apps, that's still a huge step forward, I think.
Oh, absolutely. It's a game changer for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you've created your app.
Right.
Now you need to get it out there.
You need users.
Exactly.
And that's another thing that EON is providing.
Oh, right. What is it?
They're giving these entrepreneurs immediate access to their existing platform.
Which has how many users?
42 million.
Wow. That's a lot.
And across over 80 countries.
That's a global reach.
Yeah, so it's like a built-in distribution channel.
It is. You're instantly tapping into a massive market.
And that's a huge advantage for a startup.
It is, because getting those first users is often the hardest part.
Yeah, you need that initial traction to get the ball rolling.
Right, to build momentum.
And EON is just handing it to them on a silver platter.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
It is.
So they've got the talent selection, the mentorship, the app development tool, and the marketplace access.
Yeah, what else?
What else could they possibly offer?
Well, they're also talking about this cross-border network.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more.
So it's like they're trying to connect these entrepreneurs with investors and, big companies.
To create partnerships?
Yeah, and with other innovators in the EON ecosystem.
So it's like a community.
Yeah, a global community.
A support system.
Exactly.
It's like they're trying to replicate the kind of networking you find in Silicon Valley.
But on a global scale.
Yeah, taking it beyond the traditional tech hubs.
And I think that's a really important aspect of what they're doing.
How so?
Because, a lot of times these startups, they struggle because they're isolated.
Right, they're on their own.
They don't have the connections they need to succeed.
They need mentors.
Yeah.
They need investors. They need partners.
Exactly.
And this network provides all of that.
Yeah, it gives them access to the resources and the support that they need to thrive.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about the ecosystem too.
It's about creating the right environment for innovation to flourish.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty comprehensive package, right?
That sounds like it, yeah.
Talent identification, mentorship, app development, marketplace access, and a global network.
They're really pulling out all the stops.
They are.
And they're claiming some pretty impressive results too.
Yeah, they mentioned some early economic outcomes in their press release.
What do they say?
They said that in their initial test markets, they've created over 1,000 jobs per hub within 24 months.
That's a significant number.
It is.
And they're saying that these hubs generated $1.7 million in tax revenue in their first year.
Yeah, which is, not insignificant.
No. It suggests these businesses are actually making money.
They're contributing to the local economy.
Exactly.
And they also said that 28% of the entrepreneurs who went through the program chose to stay in their home countries.
Well, that's interesting. So they're helping to reverse the brain drain.
Yeah, instead of people leaving to find opportunities elsewhere, they're staying and building businesses in their own communities.
That's a really positive outcome.
It is.
And finally, they said that these hubs attracted $47 million in foreign investment.
Wow, so they're bringing in outside capital.
Yeah, which is further fuel for growth.
It's like a virtuous cycle.
It is.
You create jobs, you generate revenue, you attract investment, you retain talent.
And it all feeds back into the local economy.
Exactly.
But, I'd be curious to know more about these initial test markets.
Yeah, me too.
Like, what were the specific characteristics of those markets?
How representative are they of other emerging economies?
Right, because what works in one place might not work in another.
It's important to understand the context.
Exactly.
But even if we take those numbers with a grain of salt, it's still a very compelling story.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It suggests that this program has the potential to make a real difference.
Yeah. And it seems like they're really committed to scaling it up quickly.
Right. They described it as a turnkey model.
Yeah, that's right.
So what does that mean exactly?
So basically, EON provides the core platform,
Okay.
the methodology, the Brainy mentorship system, the connections, and some co-investment.
So they're providing the framework.
Yeah, the blueprint.
And what about the local partners?
They're responsible for providing the physical space, the operational support, and matching funds.
So it's a collaborative approach.
Yeah, very much so.
Which makes sense. It ensures that the hubs are tailored to the local context.
Right. It's not just EON coming in and saying this is how it's going to be.
It's a partnership.
Yeah.
And they said they can be operational within 90 days of signing a partnership agreement.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
It shows they're serious about moving quickly.
They want to get these hubs up and running as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good sign.
It is. It suggests they're confident in their model.
And it makes it easier for governments and organizations to get on board.
Right, because they don't have to start from scratch.
They can plug into this existing system.
And be up and running in a matter of months.
Yeah.
And I think the underlying philosophy here is really interesting.
Yeah, what do you mean?
This idea of global innovation democracy that they keep talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a powerful concept.
It is.
It's the belief that entrepreneurial talent exists everywhere.
Not just in Silicon Valley or Shanghai.
Exactly.
And they're backing that up with their actions.
Right, they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that great quote from Dan Leger's.
Yeah, what did he say?
He said something like, the next generation of great companies could come from Lagos or Bogota or Jakarta.
Or Amman.
Or Amman.
Yeah. And that's not just wishful thinking.
No, it's a reflection of the demographic reality.
Right. The majority of the world's young people live in emerging economies.
Like 80% or something like that.
Yeah, it's a huge untapped resource.
And EON is trying to tap into that resource.
They're trying to empower these young people to become the next generation of innovators.
Yeah, to shape the future of the AI economy.
And I think that's really exciting.
It is. It's a very optimistic vision of the future.
Yeah.
A future where the benefits of AI are more evenly distributed.
Where opportunity is not limited by geography.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've looked at EON's AI for Income Academy in detail.
From the selection process to the mentorship program to the global network.
And we've discussed the potential impact of this program.
Both in terms of economic outcomes and in terms of fostering a more inclusive AI economy.
Yeah, so just to recap, the key elements are the AI-powered talent selection,
right?
The 2004-7 AI mentorship, the EON Vibe Coder for app development,
yeah,
access to a massive global marketplace, and a facilitating cross-border network.
All underpinned by this vision of global innovation democracy.
Right, and we saw some encouraging early results in terms of job creation, tax revenue, reduced brain drain, and increased foreign investment.
And it's all designed to be implemented quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, operational within 90 days.
It's a bold, ambitious undertaking.
It is.
And it raises a lot of interesting questions.
It does.
About the future of work, the role of AI in society, and the potential for technology to drive inclusive economic development.
Yeah, and that brings us to our final thought for you, our listener.
Okay, I'm listening.
So we've seen what EON is proposing.
A comprehensive program to democratize the AI economy.
Yeah, with the goal of empowering young people in emerging economies to become successful entrepreneurs.
And they're claiming some impressive early results.
But the question is, can this model really succeed on a global scale?
Right. Can it truly live up to its promise?
What are the biggest hurdles that you see?
I mean, there are so many factors to consider.
Yeah, the practical challenges, the cultural differences, the infrastructure requirements.
It's a complex undertaking.
It is.
But I think it's an important conversation to have.
Yeah, because it forces us to think about how we want the AI revolution to unfold.
Right. Do we want it to exacerbate existing inequalities?
Or do we want it to create a more just and equitable world?
That's the choice we face.
And programs like this one are trying to point us in the right direction.
They're trying to show us that a different future is possible.
Yeah, a future where everyone has the opportunity to benefit from the transformative power of AI.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in learning more about EON's AI for Income Academy, you can visit their website at www.eon.com/CFUN/to-income.
And if you're interested in exploring partnership opportunities, you can reach out to them at partnerships@eon.com.
It's definitely something worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah. The AI landscape is evolving rapidly, and programs like this one are shaping the future.
And we'll be here to keep you informed every step of the way.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, so until next time.
Take care.
Stay curious.
And stay engaged.
Bye for now.
See you later.